2004 Acura TSX. To get the door off, it's these two screws right here, these two screws right here, and a screw here. There's a cover here, a cover here, a cover here, all need to be removed. You get your 4 screws out. You're able to then pull your door panel off. It's gonna have a couple of clips around the outside. Gonna get all those off. Then you have to unhook this. Be very careful, this breaks very easily, but you're gonna pull back and then lift this out of its place. Then you have this connector, and this light you have to deal with. Once that is all off, you can now get to the speaker. So now to get the speaker off, there's a tab at the top. You're gonna separate it like that. So you're gonna come in with a tool like this or a flathead, push down, pull back. That's gonna release it. Then you're gonna lift up. It's gonna be in there kind of hard, and then you'll have a connector to deal with. This connector, you pinch on the sides and you slowly wiggle your speaker out. It's hard with one hand, but pinch on the sides, wiggle the speaker out. If you've never changed the front speakers in your TSX, it's very common for them to look like this. Your rear speakers aren't going to get as beat up, but your front speakers will handle all that bass, and this is what they'll do to themselves over time. So now you want to throw a new speaker in here. You grab some cheap, from Walmart, wherever. You want to mount it on the door. You're going to realize very quick that there is no good way for this to mount where it seals properly against the door. So you need some sort of ring to help you mount the speaker, because this is a weird opening. You're also going to need a harness unless you want to cut this. I don't recommend cutting these, they're really short, but if you can't find the harness, then that is what it is. So you're going to need some kind of trim ring. I'm going to show you how our trim ring works. If you order spacers or speaker rings or speakers from us, each side will come with its appropriate hardware. For this case, you're getting this clip, a metal screw for that clip. Then you have 2 black inserts, 2 long screws that go into those inserts, and then 4 short screws to mount the speaker to this ring. You'll also get a harness that plugs directly into the speaker and then into the OEM connection. So all of this is what we're going to use to install this speaker right now. We are always looking to improve our products, so we have made some modifications to this ring and also to the mounting hardware. So on the TSX and the Honda Accord, this is the only one that's a little weird. Normally, our instructions say to line up this right here rectangle with this rectangle. But if you do that, this spacer doesn't line up. This rectangle is for newer Acuras from 2009 and up. So since you're working from an 04 to an 08, this isn't going to line up. You're going to use the spacer like this with the inner triangle. So up there, that center one, down here, and down here where my thumb is. In order to get this mounted onto the door, we first need to fill this cavity so that there's something for the spacer to mount to. That's where this goes. This goes from the back and you press it in like that. So then it is protruding a couple of inches, but our spacer is designed to work with that. So now we're going to line up our triangle, and you'll see that we can actually press our spacer right onto there without an issue. Before we mount the spacer, we need to fill in our other 2 cavities that are going to hold the other screws. Here's where these come in. These go here. So you're going to hear that crack. And then here you'll hear that crack. And now those are in. Now we can secure our spacer to the door. To do that, we're going to use the following screws. We're going to use this screw at the top and these 2 screws at the bottom. So this metal screw will go here. These black screws would go into these, and that's how we're going to secure our spacer to this door. We have our spacer mounted on our door. We use our nice screwdriver. I recommend using a hand tool to do this. All these are nice and tight. Now we're going to connect our harness for our speaker to our proprietary harness and then mount our speaker onto the door. So now we're going to take our 4 screws and mount our speaker to our spacer, and we're going to plug our harness in. Just plug and play, no wire cutting, no wire splicing or anything like that. So here's what our final product looks like. If you're worried about the spacer or the speaker rattling or coming off the door, they make a nice tight seal against the door and the speaker against the spacer, so you won't have any rattle or anything like that. Also, you might be wondering what's the biggest speaker you can fit in here, so I'm going to show you some speakers and how they fit. So here I have some speakers in front of us. We have the smallest magnet on the Boss, the reference mid-size, we have a bigger magnet on our Hertz, and then we have the biggest magnet on our PRV. So both of these fit. something similar to this will fit. Something between here and here will fit. This does not fit properly because of this outer mounting ring, so I'll show it to you. It clears our spacer and it goes into the door, but because of that mounting pattern, there is some gap. You can kind of see with the light. It's very subtle, I would say less than like maybe 3/16 of an inch, but it's there. The PRV doesn't even clear this inner ring of metal, so something like this isn't going to fit in your door unless you plan on cutting the metal behind it. But this will clear our spacer, so our spacer won't stop you from installing this speaker. It's going to be this inner middle ring that you're either going to have to cut, dent, or choose a different speaker for.